Hi, welcome. This is going to be another daily reading for tomorrow, the 20th. I thought I would just start with the planetary energies again and just see where this reading takes us. To be honest, I was in a little bit of a weird mood today and, just doing some of my own research and whatnot, and really felt like making a video that just sort of rips Gucci a new one because, for those that don't know me, that probably wouldn't make a lot of sense, but I had to sort of calm myself down and just remember that I've sort of given up the fight to the universe in a way. So of course, I really have to take things in my own hands, but yeah, because I figure the universe can do more, in the long run, more powerful influence, I guess you'd say, than I could, with those that have been uncompromisingly and what's the right word to use here? Liar, cheater, thieves of the underdogs and stuff like that in the world who, rely on their little merry band of Gucci lemmings to help promote their brand. And I don't know, for those that Gucci blocked me, which is totally weird to me, really dumb in one way of looking at it, because as a consumer, that's just bad business, for someone who's never done anything to you, who you've probably blocked only to, try to cover your tracks. And so, obviously I can look at your account from any other account. But it's just kind of bad business practices on one level, but also, I don't know, there's just a lot. And I really would love to just go into it for an hour and trace everything I've ever documented and all the people that, the connections and how I know who works where and what and all that. But really, again, like I said, I think I'll just leave it up to the universe and try to let this one go. But on a grander scale, that sort of Mars energy we talked about yesterday, sort of really showing its head. So, I hope that this reading is a little bit more peaceful and some more peaceful predictions. Maybe I'll refer, for Gucci, you're obviously watching, and if you're watching, just think about who else might be watching, really. So, sooner or later, truth always comes out, just, that, hopefully. You can only cover your tracks for so long, right? But for them, I guess I'll refer to this, I was watching this interview with Mike Pompeo, CIA director, and I think it's minute 22 about, he just says, misappropriation is over, basically. Of course he's talking about international affairs, but Gucci is my, international, enemy. So, I'll put that below. And we'll just start fresh and just clear the energy, and let's get going. Planets for tomorrow. General energies for the highest and greatest good of all people. God, I wish I was wearing my big Russian hat. It's my Petra Collins hat. Yeah, oh well. Oops. Neptune. Neptune and Uranus is on the bottom. That's funny because Aquarius is actually, the moon's in Aquarius today. So Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So that's the who. Let's go to the what. Signs. How is this energy affecting people tomorrow? In Cancer. Virgo is on the bottom. It's funny, I always kind of associate the Hermit with, even though I know Alessandro Michel, the creative artistic director, or whatever he is, to the devil, because he's a Capricorn, and the devil is associated with Capricorn. He also kind of looks like the hermit in a lot of traditional imagery with this like long hair. He's like, oh, he's searching for the truth or something, you know. Anyways, but moving on. What area of life are these energies affecting people? Neptune and Cancer. In the 7th house, partnership. And the 8th house of hidden matters and, things that you want to avoid. Anyway, so the energy Neptune and Cancer in the 7th house. I'll read the intuitive advice first. The idealization of intuition to protect balance. Confusion regarding attitudes from the past about cooperation. Sacrifice resulting from the history of your partners. Maybe any of those speak to you? The action doing advice is inspire others with your feelings diplomatically. Be prepared to sacrifice for the attitudes from the past about relationships. And yielding is the only way to use your intuition and get a fair deal. Okay, moving right along to this one just wanted to pop out. It's decision making time. For general energy, this is the Robin Wood deck. We try to remember to say, which deck I'm using and who the author or the illustrator is. Robin Wood. What are the general energies? What do people need to know for tomorrow, 20th? And always be open to timing and always use your own logic, discernment, intuition. Hopefully these will just be sparks to point you in the right direction of wherever it is you're already on your way to. So this is the King of Swords. Speaking the truth, speaking honestly, opening up about what it is on your mind, saying what you want to say, not holding back. This is the sword of truth. It's cutting through the bullshit. It is someone who knows the truth, who says the truth, who's diplomatic, who, it could be someone in law or legal, but it could also be Libra, Aquarius, Moon Aquarius, or Gemini as an air sign, or just someone embodying that like air-like energy that is all about truth, justice, using your vocal capacity, using your mind, using your intellect to find solutions, to cut through the bullshit, like I said, and to just say what it is that needs to be said. Bottom is the Two of Swords. So again, some sort of crossroads, decision, a meeting of the minds, I think of, too. The cross there, midpoint. And there's the moon in Aquarius. So maybe that's quite important. It's using your intuition to think outside the box, think larger, see what could be possible, thinking a little bit future-mindedly, thinking about the future, talking about the future, seeing into the future a little bit. Talks about vision and thoughts and clarity of mind, having to make up a decision, but it could also mean, again, with partnerships too, and we did get the 7th house here, and 7th house is usually associated with Libra, which is all about partnerships and balance, so however that applies to you. Sometimes I think of it as cross my heart, hope to die. Speaking the truth, saying the truth. Not necessarily having, it also talks about like opening up, uncrossing, coming out of the confusion, out of the decision-making time, and finding that straight way through something, clear way through. Sometimes I think of it between two thoughts or between two people, between two, whatever swords represent to you, whether it's letters or days or weeks. But usually I think of it as letters or words, so 2 words, or to you. Let's see, I'll pull some more. Maybe I'll pull from the Lovers deck, just switch it up a bit. further clarity on what's going on tomorrow. Maybe it is between partnerships or decision time between two people, how to move forward, what you're going to do, what you're going to choose, direction, a crossroads I think of as well. A lot of times actually like some sort of crossroads, and maybe very literal, like street crossroads, you know, coming across someone, maybe coming across someone at a crossroads, coming to you, a thought, an idea coming to you, news coming to you, be very much what it is, news, messages, information, clarity coming to you, understanding something, further clarity, further information for tomorrow to utilize, to understand. I seem to want to come out too on this. This is the Queen of Swords. This is too funny. So yeah, a lot of air, a lot of thought, a lot of mental activity, and it's using that to your advantage, you know, using your speech, using your mind, your capacity to create, you know, clear thoughts, clear speech communication, and cutting through the bullshit, cutting to the chase, saying it like it is, straight up, you know. She has her book, and again, her sword of truth. So, on the bottom is the Chariot. So again, maybe, again, some sort of crossroads, the Chariot movement forward. Maybe you are, you know, meeting the Queen of Swords, King of Swords, Queen of Swords, and you're moving towards each other, meeting at a crossroads, or seeing eye to eye, I think also, you know, on something. Even telepathy also, you know, two swords, two thoughts, two minds, of one mind also, reining in two opposing ideas like that here, with the Chariot here, two opposing ways, directions you could go, two opposing energies, opposite, reining them in, making them go forward the way that you want them to go forward. This also talks about Cancer, and we got Cancer here, so Cancer is probably very important. Maybe it's a decision about what to say, what not to say. And to protect yourself, I think of also, here, the Chariot often talks about, like, you know, some sort of victory battle, military, but having, like, spiritual, I mean, 7 being a spiritual number, and having spirit on your side, helping you, directing you, towards victory. You still have to do your part, but you have spirit guiding, helping, and whatever spirit is to you. If it's God, angels, you know, your higher self, your own inner intuition. But either way, utilizing that to your advantage to win the battle. Sometimes, you know, moving between cities, moving between neighborhoods, like, you know, there's 2 different cities on either side here, so it could just, you know, be a commute home or commute to work that's important to you, or Cancer, protecting your car, or protecting your vehicle, protecting yourself with armor, some sort of armor, mental armor, I think of. And she's crossing, you know, protecting herself this way, like that. So I think of keeping your enemies close, or your friends close, your enemies closer. Something close to your chest, close to your heart. Maybe opening up about that, or not, keeping things tight-lipped, closed off. You know, whatever the situation calls for, but this really talks a lot about being victorious in your speech and in whatever decision it is that you're making, or if you're meeting someone at a crossroads, going to meet them, deciding to do that, coming to some sort of decision. You have to really use your mind. You really have to think everything through. That can be that, thinking things through, you know, like the Chariot moving through something, thinking both options all the way through, using both masculine, feminine, intellect, strategy, and intuitive guidance, and understanding, and reflection on the past, reflection of the moon, taking all those things into account to make your decision. That is what you're doing. Or 2 sevens maybe, or 9. Either way, it would be like 14, and so maybe, let's see, if there's anything, sometimes I try to go more so based on the pictorial imagery versus just the background information, because every deck is different and they draw out different things. So I've actually never gotten this card in this deck before. He looks kind of like lackadaisical, like usually it's someone very much in charge, like I also think of, like, I think I said this, the military, like someone who's just won something and he is moving forward. He's got the moon, protective, nurturing Cancerian, intuitive, spiritual guidance on his side, guiding him, protecting him, moving him forward, pushing him forward, and he's able to keep things in control. These 2 horses trying to go in 2 opposite ways, and reining them in, reining things in, making them go in one direction. Through truth, through speech, through your clarity of mind, maybe. Let's see. This is the Thoth deck. Let's see what specific energy, maybe. Victory. Jupiter, Leo and Jupiter. This is the Knight of Swords. A lot of thought. So again, more of that victorious, coming home, people supporting you on your side, parade. Maybe like once I pull the major cards, maybe I'll find some of the more traditional imagery to show you, because usually there's someone on parade. It's kind of like not resting on your laurels, but you're halfway through, you've made it through something, you're victorious, you're on your way, people are cheering you on, you have support to move forward. They could be talking about, like, maybe you think you don't have support, but you actually do, or again, thinking about some sort of all these like all this air sword energy. I'm just trying to make room here. Like this, the crossing, all the crosses there. This could be like one minor intersection. I was actually talking to a friend who was just in Japan, and she was saying that, just talking about, like, the tourist places and how some of the intersections were just so crazy busy, and just, could be so easy to kind of like just get pushed and shoved, which kind of reminds me of like a commute to when I used to work in the garment district, and my commute from like Carroll Gardens, Brooklyn to the garment district every day, and how much I would just dread it, because it was just so crowded on the trains, and like forget about it if it's like the winter, like rain, and like but yeah, by the time you're pushed, you're shoved into walls, people are trying to get to work. Once you get off the train, it's like a run for survival of the fittest. It does feel like, yeah, it you're especially in the garment district, which is right below Times Square. So you have like lost tourists filtering down into like where you're trying to get to work. I have this like weird kind of like sweater on right now. Trying to get to work, and they're getting in your way, and you have like people pushing fabric bolts, and you're ducking for cover, and like people like just bumping into you, and you're trying to carry probably like some like racks of clothes or something, and by the time you get to work, you just feel like you need like a Xanax and like a cigarette, and you're like ready to go home. Like, it was really stressful to like work in the garment district, and that's kind of what I feel like that sort of intersect, like 6th Avenue, like just like tons of people crisscrossing, because wands can mean people as well, like as a representation of a single person, so maybe 6 people, or there's just an abundance of creative energy, fires sparking all over, just lots of, meshing of ideas. I think of like references and things like that, which, as I was talking about the garment district and design and fashion, like any designer should be able to, it's what you do. Combining references, basically. It's beyond me why people exalt certain designers for that when they're just doing their job. But anyways, Jupiter talking about luck and expansion. So maybe expanding your commute, or expanding again with the Chariot. The Chariot. Just expanding, maybe if you have to move from, maybe you don't work in one set place and you're kind of moving around a lot, so having to drive a long distance, or maybe traveling overseas, maybe you're thinking about traveling, thinking about moving, thinking about how you can expand your creative projects, your creative endeavors, your own creative reach, maybe. Again, that's just reining things in, bringing things together, finding a clear way through, maybe avoiding the traffic on a very more mundane level. It also reminds me of number 7, my Odyssey playlist, and the Bishop Briggs Wild Horses, and as a pop culture reference to that, wild horses, reining things in, the Chariot. Moving ahead. I also kind of think of the Ark of the Covenant when I see the Chariot card now, just knowing a little bit about the Ark of the Covenant and how it looked and what it did, and potential theories on how it worked, and how sometimes in the Chariot card he's wearing a breastplate with 12 different, representing the astrological signs, they look like buttons, 12 different buttons, or 12 different, on his belt too. Sometimes, not always on this card, but traditional imagery. And that just reminds me of the Ark of the Covenant, so maybe around that time period as well, referring to number 7. But again, with that playlist, they can go both ways, so it kind of has to cover a bunch of different bases. You have to be flexible. Or 6, 6 and 7, 13. There we go, death. Metaphoric death. Often I think of Venus and Scorpio when I see the death card. It just talks about regeneration, and that I know a lot about that energy, so because it's what I have. But it talks about regeneration, coming back to life, renewal, expansion in a way, warrior-like energy. And I put a different link that I had put in 2 videos ago, that I think it was the romance readings, so maybe I'll put it below again, because it went into more depth about that sort of energy, and also has, it's a playlist, so you can, whatever your Venus sign is, you can find yours and look that up. It goes into more depth than beyond Venus and Scorpio is sexy and as stalkers. It talks more about the characteristics and how just different people in history, and very can either go very, depends on you if you use your energy to the highest ability or not, but peace or not, but it's just a very powerfully driven warrior-like mentality, and a lot of people in history have either turned out to be his examples were Gandhi, or Stalin, or dictator, kind of goes in those two opposite ways like that. So reining them in, trying to find some sort of common ground between, worldwide peacemaker and worldwide dictator. 13, that's always that process of renewal, of regeneration, of transformation, of coming back to life metaphorically, bringing things back to life, and just having that power within you, from you, directed towards you, given to you, supported by that sort of inner drive, that warrior mentality in order to move yourself and others forward. So, let's see, what else? Again, the Knight of Swords, so a lot of maybe a message coming through. It looks like some sort of helicopter, or, like the wings are look like a dragonfly. So I think of more like earthy air, and I see 3 birds on the bottom, some messages. Messages coming in, either you or getting one, information to just anything that has to do with like communication and talking. He's like on a mission for truth. So it looks kind of like he's going to come down hard on you if you aren't being truthful, if you aren't being honest, if you aren't being on the up and up. If you are, you have nothing to worry about, like nothing to hide, no reason to block people, no reason to be super, there's a difference between being protective and defensive, and there's a difference between self-defense and being antagonistic, so or vindictive. I think of very much vindictive energy with that as well. And people love to be vindictive. Unfortunately, it's sad. It's really, really sad to me, because it just means that, like, you don't have anything better to do with their time. At least if you're going to, like, fight for the truth and bring about truth, whether or not people like it or not, at least, do it in a way that's contributing to society, and, like, learn something in the process as well. And like I did with the Value of Ideas project, and learning about the alchemical process and turning into and tracking changes and societal shifts and seeing how we all basically move together for the good, even though it came from something bad. People, not treating me or my work or other people in my position right. So, again, just sort of being victorious in your speech and how you communicate, how you talk, being clear-headed, clear-minded, getting to the point, cutting to the chase. Let's see. This is the Monera Erotic Tarot. Sometimes their imagery is so different that it really brings out a lot of different ideas of like locations and things like that. So it's a little different, but for maybe love advice, if you have any love questions for tomorrow, so a lot of thoughts, like a lot of thinking about things, about maybe protecting yourself, protecting your partnership, protecting what's going on, like maybe you have Cancer in the 7th house, or dreams about partnership and protecting that. I figured out what this card means, like standing ovation. Or it's one meaning, one definition it could be. But anyways, for tomorrow, the 20th, let's see, what else is there to learn? Love advice for people, highest and greatest good of all. I'm going to grab this one. This is the One of Air. Sagittarius, Knight of Fire. The Tower. There's a lot of cards right now. So it's the 9 of Earth, having it all, having everything that you've worked hard for, or not, maybe having someone, that sort of diminishing, or, but if not, like just really appreciating what you have tomorrow, I think, being grateful for, enjoying your environment, enjoying your surroundings, the abundance that you have in your life, of both personal and like material things, just appreciating those things that all that you have, being grateful. Italy, I think of also. I've said that a couple times with this card, and when I pulled some pages from books, I think it was Nostradamus, Final Prophecies. It was about, so maybe I'll pull another one from there. It talked about Italian states and everything. That's funny. Gucci's from Italy. I also think of model or just crouching down, like sort of peering in, taking a stand, just pushing through. Like, also I think of Gulliver's Travels, so maybe I'll read from that as well. But 9 is the end of cycle completion, so maybe it's something's happening at the end of the day in your physical reality, Earth. Or 9 is important to you, maybe 9 years, 9 months, or something having to do with Italy, traveling, feeling larger than life, feeling, I don't know, or maybe someone sees you as larger than life. Some of the architecture as well also reminds me of the University of Chicago here, which is where I grew up, actually. Like, all that Gothic architecture and like the arches, and looks a lot like the University of Chicago campus. This is Venus in Virgo. So being, I feel like Venus in Virgo is more like, maybe you can look that up with the link that I put below, what his opinion is on it. I'm not sure what he says about it. I don't know if I've actually listened to that video, but Venus in Virgo being, having some sort of clear idea of what you want. Like, people that make lists of like what they want would have Venus in Virgo, like in someone else. So maybe this is what you want, or you're just clear on what you want, with all the swords and all thoughts and making a decision. Now you're clear with what you want, or you're coming across it. That could be it, or you're coming across something that makes you feel like you have it all, that you figured out what it is that you want, what you're looking for, who it is that you're looking for. Venus and Virgo, like just love, creation, art, beauty, and Virgo, thinking about the creative analytics, I think of as well. So for me, that's how I utilize Virgo energy, like creative analytics, but analyzing details, reality, day-to-day, your health, things like that. So errands as well, also just like running errands. Maybe you love to run errands, I don't know, or you want someone who does, or maybe you just like really tall girls, I don't know. Notice her black sneakers and her which I haven't really seen lately. Maybe that's something. I really show up in some runways. Which, by the way, I hope that these are inspiring to you, like little tidbits of things. I think most people know the difference between someone's personal life experiences and anecdotes that they talk about, and the little different suggestions, like, oh, black shoes. Like, anyone can use that, obviously. Like, it's just when you find your personal life stories showing up in like a ad campaign, you're like, fuck them. He looks like he's running away. Like, she could just stomp on him, and like he's an ant. Like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, maybe. Maybe something like that. Maybe just seeing something bigger than it is, or imagining what you could do if you were to shrink down. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going off some major tangents. I also noticed the fountain and just the stone architecture and the little like, they almost look like bullet holes or something, like in the, if you can even see that. I think it's just stone. It's supposed to look like stone. Maybe universities, or going back to school or something. Maybe meeting someone at school, or she's like no calves. That's weird to me. maybe it's just the way that she's standing. Kind of reminds me of this girl that my like ex-boyfriend ended up dating and marrying after me, and I'm like, ugh. This girl's like 10 feet tall and has huge ears. Anyways, the next card was the Tower. And this is the Two of Earth and Jupiter and Capricorn, Mars. 16 and 2. So 16 ends up being a 7 again, another 2, so maybe 2 sevens. 14, reducing down to a 5, or 16, maybe a tower situation happening twice. When lightning strikes twice is what I call it. Something traumatic or shocking comes into your life and maybe clears something away, whether you invite it or ask for it or not. Sometimes it can be good things, clears away what's old and not useful and not serving you, what's not in your best interest, even if you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like a Saturn return, I think of as well. You know, and then there's that clearing so that you can rebuild or start fresh and move forward. But, you know, oftentimes it is something quite shocking. It has that Mars, like, initiator energy, like aggressive warrior, also co-ruling Scorpio. So I mentioned Scorpio before. So Scorpio has, you know, Mars there too. Mars and Pluto just kind of like, yeah, let's take shit down. Like, has to be a little bit reined in. Rain. I like when I make those kind of connections. Some sort of cathedral again, like in Italy maybe. Which makes me think of actually Gucci, because that they had, I think it was like, what season was it? I don't know, when they had their big cruise show at that church in England, is it? Or I forget now, but yeah, it's never been like staged there before. I thought like, wow, that's kind of like sacrilegious. I don't know, maybe not. I guess not, because they agreed to it. So, but somewhere in Italy, some sort of Gothic architecture, raining down. I have no idea how this is supposed to be romantic or erotic or anything, but maybe there's something shocking or something coming in tomorrow that just some news, some information that just kind of blows your mind or throws you for a loop or something. Where did I see that word a second ago? I don't know. Loop. Or maybe just utilizing that like strong energy to get your words, your ideas, your whatever across. On a more mundane level, it can mean like, you know, like breaking your phone. I don't know where my phone is now. It fell out of my pocket and fell onto this like mosaic floor, and you can see my light. Mosaic floor that, completely shattered within a second. So now I have to go get that replaced. That's a daily errand I have to do, I think, tomorrow. So something like that, just being aware and careful of those kinds of things that could potentially happen so that they don't. And this last card was Two of Earth, Jupiter and Capricorn. So an abundance of Capricornian energy. She looks like she's just making a move, you know. It's Two of Earth. It's like weighing your options, like how are things connected? Maybe how are the two, like I was saying, like the two Italian brands that I mentioned, like connected, digital marketer. Anyways, so he looks surprised again, like the like the tower, you know, like he's surprised she's making a move. Like he did not expect that. He was just going for lunch and like, you know, sat down on the park bench, and then this like girl came up with some like short skirt and you know, just was like, hey, how's it going? Which I don't recommend to do to anyone, but maybe it's just some sort of like yeah, get in your daily reality, Capricorn, Virgo, I think that's what yeah, Virgo. Um, some sort of abundance or shocking, something that um, maybe just getting lucky tomorrow and kind of shocks you. Um, Maybe meeting someone tomorrow on a park bench, or just sort of finding those connections, because usually there's some guy who's trying to balance. Again, it could mean balancing finances, but because it's coins and he's trying to balance these two coins and they're connected by a loop, by an 8, an infinity sign, which means growth, abundance, like balancing your finance. You can have abundance, but it also means getting off on the right foot, and there's waves in the background, and he's trying to balance on one foot, so it's really weighing your options, seeing both sides of a situation, seeing both sides of the coin, knowing that there's two sides to everything, knowing that it takes two to tango. You don't get yourself into a situation on your own. It takes two, usually when there's two people involved. So not passing judgment too much until you've done all your research, and until especially with journalists and stuff like that, really doing your research, not just going on whatever is popular right now, or whoever is popular. Really seeing the facts and seeing things for what they are, seeing clearly what people are all about, knowing there's always two sides of a situation, two perspectives, two opinions, two ways of looking at things, two perspectives. I also think of weights, weighing something. So again, balance, Libra, 7th house, trying to balance your priorities, balance your financial obligations. Maybe that's having some sort of impact on your, impact the tower, impact on your relationship with maybe this girl. Maybe they're the same girl. This actually reminds me of this girl that I saw on Instagram, and it was promoted by some fashion forecaster company, and talking about how she's doing this collaboration with a brand. I don't know the brand very well, but and I definitely never heard of this girl. So I was I wonder what she is. Maybe she's cool. I'm just confused. I'm just so confused by what is, I think I've been working a lot, way over time, because if this is all it takes to find collaborations and whatnot, just taking photos of yourself, so I scrolled through, I went so far down her Instagram page just trying to find out who the fuck this girl was, why she didn't have any other pictures besides close-ups of her face and of her taking little videos, 1-minute videos of just with music and stuff like that, and just what does the world come to? But anyways, yeah, that's what that girl reminds me of. She was wearing some short ass dress, and just thinking in my mind wow, all the thought and things I put into work and trying to push things forward, movements and all that, all I had to do was take some sexy ass pictures of myself and keep, you know what I mean? Why are those things promoted? I just don't get it. Anyways, not to say I don't know who she is. I still couldn't figure it out. She didn't have a website or a link or anything like that, and it didn't say anything in her descriptions. It was just a photo of her. It's one big selfie. So I still don't know who she is. Maybe she's done some great things. So maybe it's keeping an open mind, letting there be space for change your opinion about something. But I'm just confused. Anyways, let's see. Maybe I forgot to put the I Ching link in the video from yesterday. So maybe I'll pull a card from here and remember to put that in. You can go back and look at it if you want. Let's see. Maybe just raising the bar, raising the standards. This is 39. Raising the bar, I think of, raising the horizon line. Seeing.
In his first public remark since confirmation, CIA Director Mike Pompeo discussed the Syria chemical weapons attack, North Korea's nuclear.
Yeah, I was watching that, and so it's weird that it just started playing by itself. Yeah, it's just like seeing. It's almost like I can't tell if he's come. I mean, he's probably come from that direction with the footsteps, but it kind of looks like he's looking back and seeing how far he's come. 39:12. He looks like he's about to enter into a vortex. He's testing the waters. He's putting the, is it okay for me to go in? Will my arm get chopped off? Let's try it out with a stick first. 51:6. Another half. 12. So, again, Virgo, like the 6th house maybe, or just that loving, nurturing, helpful energy of just groundedness and feeling connected to someone or family, maybe memories, past life. I actually have no idea what this card means. I'm in the process of memorizing the I Ching. So maybe those numbers are important to you. 39, 51, or 6 and 12. 12 reduced down to a 3. So again, creation, art, beauty, love. I just think of Gucci's Blind for Love. Obviously. Anyways, okay, so song for tomorrow. I wanted to go to this one. Devil with a Blue Dress On and Good Golly Miss Molly, Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. That's fun. And L'amour de Loin, a strikingly accessible opera. Promise. Oh, I like the name of this. Cité de la Musique. New Age Space Tango from the Bill Evans of the Bandoneon. New Age Space Tango. And I did say it takes 2 to tango. Mentioned the devil as well. So, I guess Spirit agrees. I'll put those links for that below. And let's see. Maybe try to quickly find a prophecy by Nostradamus for tomorrow. Again, I think this would make such a fun editorial. You just see it in like a W magazine spread, although I'm sure that if they are watching this, they wouldn't, say that they got that idea from me. Which they should, but. Okay. The trembling of the earth that Martara, the tin island of St. George, half sunk, drowsy with peace, war will rise at Easter, and the temple abyss opened. This is another earthquake quatrain, but it is difficult to relate it to the British Isles. Earthquakes occur there, but not of such a dimension that half the land would be destroyed. An earthquake in Montara would mean a disturbance over 1,000 miles from Britain, but the quatrain should not be totally dismissed. Jeffrey Goldman, an expert on earthquakes, said recently that we are the earthquake generation, and he seems to foresee that the earthquakes will cover a far larger area than the so-called earthquake zone. Easter fits comparatively well with the great earthquake Nostradamus foresees in the west coast of America in mid-May. This is I just saw Hercules, king of Rome, and a mark of Gaul 3 times the leader will be so called. Italy will tremble, and the waters around St. Mark the First to be renowned over all kings. A reference to de Gaulle. That's funny. In this other video of Venus and Scorpio the person that I will direct you to, he redid that video, but in the first one he said, again, kind of those in power could either go in this, dictator, direction, or de Gaulle direction, peace. And this one says the partner, solitary but married, will be mitered. The return fighting will cross over the Tuileries. By 500, one traitor will be ennobled. Narbonne of Solce will have oil for knives. We will have oil for knives. This is again a riveting quatrain following directly upon, however these are divided up. When Louis the 16th, or 4th, sorry, when Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette were stopped at Varennes, they passed the night at the house of a man named Saulce, line 4. The sauces, modern spelling, have been chandlers and marchands d'épiciers at Varennes since the 16th century, and Nostradamus is able to give us their name. The statement that the king above is mitred refers to Louis's return to the Tuileries on June 20th. 20th, like judgment. 1792, when the mob invaded the palace and the king was forced to wear the revolutionary cap of liberty, which looks very much like a mitre. It is thought that couteau in line 4 should read as quartance, which means oil sold at retail, which was exactly what the 18th century M. Sauce did. In there's History of France, he comments that when the king and queen returned to the Tuileries for the second time, the mob murdered 500 people, a convincing quatrain. So maybe you have this book. That's page 370, 371. Okay. So yeah, maybe staying away from mobs, like I said, like avoiding heavy intersections, like trying to just find that clear way through and get to work on time. Let's see, find something short here. During the storm, which was followed by a strong wind west-southwest, we were carried by my computation about 500 leagues to the east, so that the oldest sailor on board could not tell in what part of the world we were. Our provisions held out well, our ship was staunch, and our crew all in good health, but we lay in the utmost distress for water. We thought it best to hold on the same course. Maybe you're thirsty. I'm a little thirsty. We thought it the best to hold the same course rather than turn more northerly, which might have brought us to the northwest parts of the great Tartary and to the frozen sea. On the 16th day of June, 1703, 16th tower, a boy on the topmast discovered land. On the 17th we came in full view of the great island or continent, for we knew not whether on the south side whereof was a small neck of land jutting out into the sea, and a creek too shallow to hold a ship of above 100 tons. We cast anchor within a league of this creek, and our captain sent a dozen of his men, well armed, into a longboat with vessels for water, if any could be found. I desired his leave to go with them, but I might see the country and make what discoveries I could. When we came to land, we saw no river or spring, nor any sign of inhabitants. Our men therefore wandered on the shore to find out some fresh water near the sea, and I walked alone about a mile on the other side, where I observed the country, all barren and rocky. I now began to be weary, and seeing nothing to entertain my curiosity, I returned gently down towards the creek. Maybe you're bored. And the sea being full in my view, I saw our men already got into the boat and rowing for life to the ship. I was going to holler after them, although it had been to little purpose, when I observed a huge creature. I'll find it for you. A huge creature walking after them in the sea. As fast as he could, he waded not much deeper than his knees and took prodigious strides, but our men had the start of him half a league. The sea thereabouts being full of sharp-pointed rocks, the monster was unable to overtake the boat. This I was afterwards told, for I durst not stay to see this issue of the adventure, but ran as fast as I could the way I first went, and then climbed to a steep hill, which gave me some prospect of the country. I found it fully cultivated, but that which first surprised me was the length of the grass, which in those grounds that seemed to be kept for hay was about 20 foot high. I fell into a high road, for so I took it to be, which makes me think of Third Eye Blind Crystal Ball, or Can We Try to Take the High Road? It's about 20 foot high, for so it took to be, though it served the inhabitants only as a footpath through a field of barley. Here I walked on for some time, but could see little on either side, it being now near harvest, and the corn rising at least 40 foot. I was an hour walking to the end of this field, which was fenced in with a hedge of at least 120 foot high, and the trees so lofty that I could make no computation of their altitude. There was a stile to pass from this field into the next. It had 4 steps and a stone to cross over when you came to the uppermost. It was impossible for me to climb this stile because every step was 6 foot high, and upper stone above 20. I was endeavoring to find some gap in the hedge when I discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field advancing towards the stile, of the same size with him whom I saw the sea pursuing our boat. He appeared as tall as an ordinary spiral steeple, and took about 10 yards at every stride, as near as I could guess. I was struck with the utmost fear and astonishment, and I ran to hide myself in the corn, from whence I saw him at the top of the stile, looking back into the next field on the right hand, and heard him call in a voice many degrees louder than speaking trumpet. But the noise was so high in the air that at first I certainly thought it was thunder. Whereupon 7 monsters like himself came towards 7, like the chariot, or 16:7, towards him with reaping hooks in their hands, each hook about the largest of 6 scythes. These people were not so well clad as the first, whose servants or laborers they seemed to be, for upon some words he spoke, they went to reap the corn in the field where I lay. I kept from them at a great distance as I could, but was forced to move with extreme difficulty, for the stalks of corn were sometimes not above a foot distance, so that I could hardly squeeze my body betwixt them. However, I made a shift to go forward till I came to a part of the field where the corn had been laid by the rain and wind. Here it was impossible for me to advance a step, and for stalks were so interwoven that I could not creep through. I think of the hermit as well sometimes, not its traditional like meaning, but just because he's like creeping in the dark, and I also think of like snoops, which makes me think of fashion snoops. And the beards of the fallen ears so strong and pointed that they pierced through my clothes into my flesh. At the same time, I heard the reapers not above the 100 yards behind me, being quite dispirited with toil and wholly overcome by grief and despair. I lay down between 2 ridges and heartily wished I might there end my days. So, anyways, if you're interested, that's page 288. 88, of course. I mean, drink. That number just keeps coming up, and some other things that always tend to come up with these readings that just figured at a certain point people should just make a game out of it. This is one big, like, game, I guess you'd say. One big, participation, audience participation. And if, by the way, you want to pull cards, when I do these readings, I welcome that as far as, helping yourself to direct the energies, like seeing how it actually, is going to filter into your life, these energies, how it directly affects you. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I don't know if I can think of anything else. I was going to maybe pull Oracle card, but this is already at 58:58. So I guess that's it. I hope you have a great day and avoid traffic. Bye.